And welcome back. 10 NFL head coaches vacancies tied for a league record for a single offseason, and yet not a single black head coach was hired. It's a trend many began pointing out following reports from ESPN yesterday that the final vacancy has been filled, with Rams offensive coordinator Mike Loeffler taking the Arizona Cardinals job. Now, next season will begin with just 3 black head coaches in a league where roughly 70% of the players are black. ESPN columnist and on-air host Clinton Yates joins me to talk about this trend and what it means for the league. So, Clinton, the NFL made these rule changes to encourage hiring of more black coaches more than 20 years ago. But if you look at the numbers, they're the exact same today, the number of head coaches, as there were in 2003. Why is that?
Good afternoon, Selena. I mean, I think the thing is that this is not exactly a complex problem, but it also is not linear in the context of a rule is not going to help you with what is effectively human nature. And when you look at how the different things develop, where guys come from, as in coaches, how they're looked at by their owners, and most specifically, how many opportunities they're given to fail before they get another chance, that's where a lot of things fall off the most. You look at the former coach of the New England Patriots, who are now in the Super Bowl, Gerard Mayo, he got fired after 1 season. Exactly. And that's understandable in a certain context, but guys like that often don't get another chance. Meanwhile, you've got other different guys who have been coaches for some time or not a lot of time who get chances over and over and over again. So there's an element of, I don't want to just call it inherent bias, but that is something to consider when you're talking about who's looked at and who could be a leader and who could get a shot versus somebody who's considered, ooh, not good enough, not ready yet.
And what do you say to those who argue that the coaches who were hired just deserve the job more? And were there black candidates out there who you were surprised to see get snubbed this offseason?
The truth is that it's not specifically about any individual identity, although that does matter. But I would ask those people who say that and posit this question. You're really telling me that there's only 3 human beings walking the earth who are capable of being a head coach in the NFL who are black folks? That just doesn't make sense. Explain that to me, considering the numbers that we're talking about. And even if that is true, that means there's a problem elsewhere in terms of development, in terms of what people are doing to try to make sure that the people who play the game have an opportunity to stay in the game and utilize their brain trust going on down the line. It just doesn't actually add up and make sense. And it's not even necessarily about intent. This is part of the reason why the Rooney Rule doesn't do much, because there's no real enforcement. It can be skirted effectively. You look at a team like the New York Giants, who just hired John Harbaugh away from the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, they interviewed a couple guys in the building, but it was clear those guys were never going to get the job because the indication of who they wanted was already out there. It's an uphill climb just in terms of the societal understanding of how you get to this point. And a lot of these owners, frankly, old, rich, billionaire white men, don't have the worldview that a lot of younger people do to make sure that they can see somebody as having an opportunity that is worth taking a shot on.
The New York Times athletics section had an article that said, quote, in a nation backing away from previous diversity commitments, there is little societal pressure for the NFL owners to be better. Well, Clinton Yates, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your views.
Anytime.